you know what they say? The bigger the dog, the bigger the money line upset, right? They don't, but they should because it's the 2024 season. And we have a ton of huge dogs coming into week 4, and we're going to break them all down right here. This is Picks for Every Game. I'm Dave Loughy, at Loughy_D on Twitter. And of course, I'll save you the pleasantries. But if you're still not over on Tails yet, right? If you're still not over in the marketplace and inside the premium Discord, what are you doing? We did it again. Ja'Marr Chase, 2+ touchdowns, boom, plus 900. Being the magnanimous guy that I am, I threw it in the Discord at plus 900 before I could get to it. Go back over, it's plus 850, but it doesn't matter. A win is a win. If you want to jump in, join an awesome community that's growing by the day. Find your home. 50% off with NFL24. That's the promo code. Links in the description and in the pinned comment. It's less than $5 a week, less than $15 a month. Hit me up in Discord, say what's up, and let's keep rolling these wins out because as you can see, it's been a profitable season so far. Love to have you guys as a part of it. Let's go. Yo, Dave Loughy here. Picks for every single game in week 4, and we've got some good ones. If you don't mind, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Give me your favorite picks. I love reading and responding to all of them. Tell me where you're with me, where you're against me. You want a tail, you want a fade, doesn't matter. I'm going to give you all the information that I have for this week and put you in a better position you were before you watch this. And of course, hit me up on Twitter at Loughy_D. Kick it off with Thursday Night Football. Dallas Cowboys. When I was hitting this one in Discord, as a matter of fact, earlier today, it was 4.5. It's since moved to 5.5, but still a pretty good game. Cowboys 5.5-point favorites, 44.5-point total. Look, they've been dreadful at stopping the run. It's so bad. And also, they can't run themselves. They can't run on offense. They've surrendered 557 yards on the ground so far. But here's the thing. The Cowboys do have a pass rush. It just hasn't mattered when they fall behind because they can't stop the run. Like, you know what I mean? Lamar didn't even drop back. They didn't have to throw. What do you have, 8 completions in that game? You look at week 1, they pestered and tormented Deshaun Watson all game and got the win. In week 2, again, didn't matter because Alvin Kamara ran wild all over them. I don't necessarily see that happening with Devin Singletary today, but it goes beyond that, right? Dallas can protect Dak Prescott. And what does that mean? Well, here's what it means. The New York Giants finally got the pass rush going against Cleveland. What a disaster of a football team that is, right? Deshaun Watson pressured at a ridiculous clip this year. The offensive line problems have only gotten worse. But they finally got that defensive line. They finally got the pass rush, wreaked havoc, and end up winning that game in Cleveland. Dak Prescott has been pressured at one of the lowest clips in the league. Only Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers, and Patrick Mahomes have been pressured at a lower clip than he has this season. And if the Giants aren't getting to the quarterback, they're totally exposed in the secondary. So, yeah, I think the Cowboys are, being declared dead. I said this about Jacksonville, and that didn't work out yesterday. But I did actually give you guys that the Ja'Marr Chase pick in that video as well. I think I gave you the 2 touchdown and the touchdown ladder there. So, forgive me for my sins on Jacksonville. But, Dak has historically dominated this Giants team. 10 straight wins, and only 2 of them have been by less than a touchdown. If they lose this one, it's time to worry. But for now, give me Dallas minus 5.5 on Thursday night. Steelers laying 2 points on the road against the Colts, 40-point total. I assume the sharp money probably comes in on the Colts for this one for the most part. So maybe I'm just dumb, but man, Anthony Richardson has looked terrible. Man, he's made some inexplicably bad decisions, to the point where the Colts are lucky they're not 0-3 coming into this game. And the Steelers' defense has been really good. To be fair, they faced Kirk Cousins in his first game with a surgically repaired Achilles. And then who did they face? Bo Nix, right? Bo Nix, and then a crippled Justin Herbert, who became more crippled later in the game and was ultimately replaced by Taylor Heineke. But also, shouldn't we be talking about the Colts defense? I don't hear enough about this. They faced one competent quarterback so far. That was C.J. Stroud. And that was a day where the Colts allowed 417 total yards to that Houston offense. Then they coughed up 389 yards to Malik Willis and the Packers, mostly on the ground, followed by almost 400 yards to Caleb Williams and company. I actually like the over 39 in this game. And you're like, what do you mean? All of these games are going under between both of these teams. I get it. But, Richardson's mistakes could actually help this game get over because he's almost certainly going to put Pittsburgh in good field position at least once or twice. And he's going to have to take some shots downfield. Pittsburgh has a really stout run defense. And this is the best matchup Fields and the Steelers are going to have on the season for sure. Like, these teams have been cruising under the totals, both of them this season. But a lot of that, I think, was matchup based if you go back and look at it. I would lean Steelers -2. I know it's probably minority here. It's like, well, you can't bet the Steelers as a slight road favorite. We know what happens with Mike Tomlin. I thought so too against Denver, and they came in and won because the defense is good. But I haven't bet it yet. I would lean over 39.5 too. I think this is, a very different spot for both of these teams than they saw through the first 3 weeks. Eagles, 2.5-point favorites against the Bucs, 45-point total. I'll be very clear on this. I can't make a play on this yet. Okay. I'll probably drop something into I know I'll have props in the Discord for sure. And that's where we've smoked this season. Smoked. Right. But I can't make a play yet because A.J. Brown probably sits. Devonta Smith is questionable. And I don't think he plays. He got hit by a 900-pounder head on at 100 miles per hour. Lane Johnson has a concussion. Naturally you'd be thinking after me, I'm saying all that, like, yeah, why wouldn't you just take Tampa? I get it. But I don't know if they're going to have Vita Vea. I don't know if they're going to have Kalijah Cansey back yet or Antoine Winfield. And if Vita Vea misses, this Eagles team might just be able to run the ball down Tampa's throat. I know they're pretty much a pass funnel defense, but not without him. Like, he might be the best run stopper in the league. And Saquon Barkley is healthy. He's fresh. He's cutting on it. I mean, he looks so good. He can ruin a game by himself. And Jalen Hurts is mobile too, much more than he was last year when he was clearly hurt. He's been wildly impressive, both of them on the ground. I need to wait for more info in this one. But if you think Vita Vea returns, because Luke Goedeke is expected back, Goedeke, on the O-line. And if you think Tampa is going to be mostly healthy, then grab them now at +2.5. But I'm waiting this game out. I need to know these Philly injuries. It's huge. Vikings at the Packers. Packers 2.5-point home favorites, 43.5-point total. All right, so we don't know if Jordan Love's playing yet. Matt LaFleur said he'll be limited throughout the week and then he'll be day-to-day, whatever that means. But this is a really fun matchup because Brian Flores has been an absolute evil genius behind the controls for that Vikings defense. He's made life impossible for opposing quarterbacks, including C.J. Stroud last week, who looked nothing like the guy we saw, through his first, 19 career games or whatever it's been. But LaFleur is equally special as an offensive mind. It's a true heavyweight battle, no matter who's under center for Green Bay. The Packers just won back-to-back games straight up as dogs. They crushed the Titans last week, too. I didn't see that coming. I should have known. Will Levis is bad with those mistakes. LaFleur is also 33-9 at home straight up as the Packers head coach. And this is a 2.5-point spread. Look, I have a ton of respect for both of these coaches, but if I'm getting LaFleur inside of a field goal here with the chance that Jordan Love, who really wants to play and seemed close last week, is on the field, I'm going to take it. It's also tough to believe that the public isn't going to love Minnesota as a dog here, a week after seeing what they've done through the first 3 weeks. But give me Packers -2.5. Broncos at the Jets. Jets laying 7, 38.5-point total. The Jets are like the one team I really want to be right about this season, because all the pieces are there for them to be really good so long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy. Like last year, I really liked them and he plays 4 snaps and it's over. Just like that, the season is over. I was dead wrong in week 1, Sunday Night Football. Was it Thursday Night Football, right? Thursday night? Monday night? Yeah, Monday night. It was at night. I know that much. Then I was right against the Titans, barely, got lucky. And then I was dead on accurate against the Patriots. That game was never competitive, right? So mixed bag of everything. But essentially, I'm going back to the well again. And yes, we've bet on the Jets all 3 weeks this season. We were on the Broncos last week too, and they had a convincing win. They looked so much better than they had through the first 2 weeks. But also, let's think about a couple things. One, they're coming off a huge road upset. Now they have to go play another road game against the Jets. It's not a recipe for success. Also, the Bucs were dealing with a lot of defensive injuries. That's one of the reasons why we liked Denver last week. But Bo Nix is not going to have an easy time moving the ball against this Jets defense. And even if C.J. Mosley isn't back, Jermaine Sherwood's been good, maybe even better in his place as the overall impact on this defense. 7 points is a lot. I'd love to get it at 6.5. I think it probably moves more towards 7.5 though. But I'm buying the Jets again this week. I'm selling on the Broncos after that big win against a banged up Tampa Bay defense. Rams at the Bears. This won't be fun. Bears laying 2.5, 41-point total. Look, I hate backing the Bears here against the coach in McVay, who proved again last week that you just can never count them out. And I was straight up wrong with San Francisco. I did not. After what I saw with the Rams against Arizona, I'm like, there's just no way. Because I teased it and lost. I didn't bet them at 7. I teased it down and still lost. But I'm still not high on the Rams. Are you guys? Tell me in the comments. Like, after what we saw on Sunday, you go, wow, that's crazy. But they're still allowing 426 yards per game. They still have the worst pass blocking according to multiple metrics in football. They have a bunch of creative players on the offensive side, not named Kyron Williams. And for what it's worth, the Bears' pass blocking has been awful too. And Caleb Williams isn't a guy that I'm, aggressively eager to back on any given week. We bet Indy last week. We bet Indy, despite Anthony Richardson's incomprehensible mistakes, they still covered and won outright. As a favorite, sure, but I mean, the Bears will likely fire Shane Waldron if this offense doesn't click in this game. I think so. Like, am I wrong here? They probably fire him if they score 12, 13, 14 points in this game, right? They have too much talent on the offensive side. But even so, I like the defense, particularly in the secondary, and I'm not afraid of the Rams' run game. Yes, Kyron had a nice game. You look statistically, you look at his fantasy points, you go, wow, shit. But 3 touchdowns. Outside of that, it took him 24 carries to get to 89 rushing yards. Like, they still don't have a good run blocking game. They still don't have good run blocking. Yeah, inside of a field goal at home, give me the Bears. But this might be the gross pick of the week. I'm calling it. Right? No, that's wrong. I have one more that is far grosser than this one. And by the way, if you're grabbing this, do it on Bet365 where it's 2.5. I'm seeing 3s out there. That's a 2.5 there. They're giving you $200 in bonus bets just for signing up, depositing $10 and betting 5 on whatever you want. And the best part, you could live bet something, and the moment it settles, it's instantly injected into your account as $200 in bonus bets. And if you're watching this before Thursday, they're giving you $10 in bonus bets per every single touchdown scored in that game, so long as you put $50 cumulatively into same game parlay. So it could be 1, or it could be 10 different $5 same game parlays, whatever it may be. But just know the best primetime offers are over there, the best boosts, the best bonuses, and clearly the best sign-up bonus, $5 into 200 instantly once it settles. I just threw the link in the description and the pinned comment. Easiest way to bolster your bankroll and just have opportunities that you didn't have before with the bankroll that wasn't there before. Got to be 21 years or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Otherwise, go grab $200 in bonus bets and get in on that Thursday night promo at Bet365. All right, let's go with the next one here. Yes, it's Bengals and Panthers, 47.5-point total. Bengals laying 4.5 on the road. Gross on Monday Night Football. Like I said, the Chase touchdown ladder bailed me out. And Travis Etienne getting that over prop where he shouldn't have. But the Chase bailed me out because I liked the Bengals. I think a lot of us like the Bengals. Credit Jaden Daniels. Phenomenal game. Him and Terry McLaurin finally found that downfield connection that they had not had through the first couple of weeks. But I was genuinely shocked to see how bad the Bengals defense was on Monday. I know they weren't great. I mentioned this in the Monday Night Football video. I knew the run defense was a problem. I said it. I said if they lose this game, it's the run defense. But they couldn't stop anything. And the pass coverage was equally non-existent. There's no way I can overreact to one game, though, on the other side of Andy Dalton after he tuned up the Raiders in Las Vegas. But there is this. He's a clear and significant upgrade from Bryce Young. I mean, what a massive indictment that is on Bryce Young. There's no coming back from that. Unless you get traded to another team and they figure out how to fix you. The 36-year-old Andy Dalton just came in and showed out in Las Vegas and dropped 30-plus points. The Panthers, though, pass block really well. Andy Dalton was only pressured 7 times on Sunday. I know Max Crosby's dealing with an injury, but they've pass blocked well all year. And the Bengals are getting no pressure this season. Conversely, the Panthers on defense are getting no pressure either. Remember I went through this list of check boxes last week when we wanted the over for this Raiders game and it hit? Well, I think we're right back there. This could legitimately be a shootout. Now that Carolina has a modicum of competence at quarterback, this may be a shootout. Give me over 47.5. And I would lean Panthers 4.5, plus 4.5, not because of what they did to the Raiders last week, but combined with what the Commanders just did to the Bengals on Monday. Saints at Falcons. Falcons 1.5 point favorites, 42 point total. Tough game. I mean, there's a straight lean. I like the Falcons defense coming into the season. And yes, I still like them now. Yeah, they're 1-2 on the year, but they've done a great job in coverage. They've been really good at stopping the run, really good in red zone defense, and pretty good at stopping the run. They held Mahomes and company to 22 points. They had every opportunity to win that game. The missed pass interference on Pitts was just brutal. And I know I tweeted it as it happened. I was like, the refs are going out of their way with these makeup calls on the ensuing drive, but it didn't matter. The ball should have been placed at the goal line, and they should have been able to punch it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But they held the Eagles to 21 points, the Steelers to 18. The biggest problem here is the offensive line. You just lost both your starting center and your right tackle. You know, one of them's definitely out. The other one's probably out. I don't mind the Falcons here. Outside of the fact that their pass rush has been totally non-existent. Not a huge surprise. They have been great in the red zone. They've been great at taking away the deep plays. Only 3+ passes of 20+ yards completed. And we saw what happened when Derek Carr can't get the ball downfield to somebody like Rashid Shaheed, right? 0 for 5 there, and they were pretty lifeless. Alvin Kamara can't get outside. You see what happens. Saints also lost their starting center and Eric McCoy, which is a big deal. I'd lean Falcons here, but I'm not betting this one, at least not yet. -1.5. Jags at Texans. Texans 6-point favorites, 45.5 point total. Not the easiest of the games because I'm recording this on Tuesday, and I'm not even convinced Trevor Lawrence is going to be starting on Sunday. Seriously, I have no idea. Shit, I'm not even convinced Doug Peterson's going to be in Jacksonville come Sunday. I mean, what a pathetic display of football we saw on Monday night. Just the epitome, the true definition of lifelessness in all phases of the game. Like I said, we got lucky on ETN. For some reason, they left him out there. But I look at this. Normally, I go, hey, good bounce back spot. Divisional 6-point dog. Yeah, okay. Embarrassing loss coming off of that. But here's the problem. The Texans just got stomped out by the Vikings. And they return home to make a statement themselves. The Jags have allowed 11 pass plays of 20+ yards already, and we're 3 weeks into the season. They have no pass rush whatsoever at all. So, I mean, I think I'm probably going to be digging deep into some props on Stroud and pass catchers for this game. Absolutely. But right now, before any of that comes out, because this is Tuesday afternoon, give me Houston -6. Patriots at 49ers, Niners laying 10. 40-point total. I'll tell you what, these big underdogs covering every game, winning most of them outright, it spooked me a little bit. Because on paper, you look at this and you go, there's just no way the 49ers don't steamroll them. And for what it's worth, we were on the Jets when the Patriots were kind of the trendy play last week with all of those big dogs covering. We were on the Jets, and that was not even a sweat. But it's just, it was so easy last week to say, hey, 49ers look good here too, with how pitiful the Rams looked against Arizona, with their O-line being incompetent. And look what happened. Realistically, I think the best spot to take here is under 40. Jacoby Brissett has become the sacrificial lamb in New England. He has no viable pass catchers. He has an O-line that can't block. And I know they've had injuries, but no quarterback's been pressured at a higher rate than Jacoby Brissett through the first 3 weeks. And the 49ers continue to deal with offensive injuries. They'll still be without McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel's not going to play. And George Kittle seems like he's going to be a legitimate questionable. And now Brock Purdy landed on the injury report, but it seems like he should be okay. I just think we have a lot of outs for this game to go under, right? Like a 28-10 game still gets us under. A 30-10 game is a push, but like a 28-10 game, which seems realistic, and granted, well, why wouldn't you take the 10? I get that, but what I'm saying is even a 21-14 type of game, there's a lot of ways for this game to go under, and right now that's where I'm at. Give me under 40 between this 49ers and Patriots game. Commanders at the Cardinals. Cardinals 3.5-point favorites, 50.5-point total. Commanders are coming off a crazy emotional win in Cincinnati, right? Where they dropped 38 points on a totally lifeless Bengals defense. Jaden Daniels looked great. He didn't flinch under the bright lights in his third career game. I mean, really impressive stuff. But now they're on a short week, traveling to Arizona to face a Cardinals team that just lost 8, one possession game against a good Lions team. But there was a pick six that unless the clocks didn't line up or something, a pick six that got called back because the clock wound down and they blew the whistle on a 2-minute warning, but there was still time on the clock. Let me know in the comments if I missed a certain angle of that or another clock, but it sure looked like they got railroaded on that. Either way, you see what I'm saying? Forget about that. Like another close one possession game against a good Lions team that Arizona, with that pick six, they would have taken the lead. I like this as a bounce back spot for Arizona. I like it as a comeback down to earth spot for the Commanders. And here's why. The Commanders offense was absolutely humming on Monday night. That defense, though, is still a gigantic liability. Let's not ignore it. Okay. Joe Burrow still carved them up. The Bengals didn't punt either, not just Washington. And Arizona's defense is, let's be honest, better than advertised. Keep an eye on Trey McBride's status, but either way, I like the Cardinals. And you guys already know, I will be looking closely at Marvin Harrison Jr. props, maybe even Greg Dortch, Michael Wilson. We'll see in some capacity because, look, if you're over with me on Tails, by the way, if you wanted to join, make sure to download the app and turn notifications on. But if you're in Discord too, that's where we have the chat and everything. Again, NFL 24, less than $5 a week with that promo, $15 for the month. But if you've been in there forever with me or ever with me, you know, if there's one spot I will pick on every week, it is that Commanders secondary. So we'll look to get back to the well there as well. Chiefs at Chargers. Chiefs 8.5 point favorites, 39.5 point total. I have to bet the Chargers on principle. Remember I said the gross game of the week? Well, it is this one for sure. That's all we need to discuss here. You probably got your head in your hands thinking, what's he talking about? But you know, this works a lot. It worked a lot last year. The Chiefs are 3-0, but they haven't looked particularly sharp. They barely got by Cincinnati after a defensive pass interference call put them in field goal range. It was PI, by the way. Isaiah Likely, they were an Isaiah Likely toe away from losing in week 1. And the Falcons had every opportunity on Sunday night to get it done, but they couldn't. Now, credit Steve Spagnuolo. That guy's amazing defensive coordinator, and he had Kirk Cousins in some real trouble late in that game. So it's not like I'm taking anything away from him. All I'm saying is the Chiefs more than likely move to 4-0 after this week, but as a very big favorite, this has been the furthest thing from automatic when it comes to them covering the spread. And this line is clearly already pricing in the Justin Herbert ankle injury, right? He said he's going to try and play again. I don't know if it's a good idea, but these are the type of ugly spots that no one ever wants to bet. They bet the other side, and they end up wondering at the end how they possibly could have lost. Maybe they just get routed. It's possible, but at 8.5 points, it's pretty much on principle. You take the Chargers here. It might be Herbert, it might be Heineke, but I still like Jim Harbaugh to not get embarrassed at home, if you want to call it that. Against this Chiefs team. Give me Chargers plus 8.5. Gross game of the week. Browns at Raiders. Raiders are -1 in some spots, plus 1.5 in other spots. Deshaun Watson might get benched after this week, honestly. Most of it's his fault. He's been terrible. We came real close to hitting that Amari Cooper ladder last week, too. We did get it up to 80, and we got the touchdown, so big profit there. But that 100, if Deshaun was even remotely competent, we get there easily. Amari Cooper still has it, man. But this offensive line's been a serious problem, too. This is one of the biggest strengths on the Browns team for years, right? When it's healthy. Not now. Injuries keep piling up. Jedrick Wills re-aggravated his injury. He's not going to play. I don't know if Jack Conklin's going to play. He's got a hammy. He could miss another game. And now Wyatt Teller's out multiple weeks with a knee injury. Things just went from bad to worse here. But also on the other side, Max Crosby's playing through a high ankle sprain. He looked nothing like himself. This supposedly vaunted pass rush for the Raiders, I know they've dealt with injuries. They've been non-existent for most of the year. I'd still lean Raiders as a home dog, though, just because backing Watson. I was right on Watson week 1. I was right on him week 2. I was flat out wrong last week. So we're 2-1 backing or fading Watson. I'm going to fade him this week, try and go to 3-1. He's just been so bad. It's so hard to back him. I really thought that the pressure wouldn't get there with the Giants last week. Will's injury hurts, and that he'd be able to pick apart the secondary, but it wasn't the case. He's horrible under pressure, and they can't protect him. For context, he's been pressured 63 times this year. That's 14 more than the next closest player. So again, I give him a bit of a pass, but not enough to bet him. Raiders on FanDuel are plus 1.5. Give me the dogs, or give me Raiders money line on FanDuel as well. Bills Ravens. I'm not sure I'll bet this game. Ravens are 2.5 point favorites. Well, I'm not sure I'll bet the spread here. There is a side I like. The Ravens are giving up way too many big pass plays to not risk getting punished by Josh Allen. He looks unstoppable right now. Straight MVP, right? Honestly, I have eyes on the over. We can't say that this Bills defense has been actually tested yet. And I'm not saying they're bad, because they're not. I'm just not saying they're amazing. I'm saying they're not impenetrable. Let's put it that way. And Baltimore has holes all over their secondary. Mike McDonald's absence clearly playing a role. But with the way they played, both teams can exert dominance on offense. I would lean Baltimore -2 here, but I haven't bet that. I am betting over 46, and I like that spot the most. Titans at the Dolphins. Again, Monday night, doubleheader. You got to love it. They should do this every week. Titans -1, 37-point favorite, or 37 total here. We'll know more about this game in the coming days, but right now, Will Levis is still the starting quarterback, according to Brian Callahan for Tennessee. And Skylar Thompson is day-to-day with a chest injury, and Mike McDaniel said it's definitely possible that Tyler Huntley could play this one. You know, if he doesn't play, it could be Tim Boyle, or it could be newly acquired Tyler Huntley, who doesn't even have a firm grasp on the playbook, but at least he's mobile. It's funny, though, too, because we just saw Malik Willis, who hasn't been on the Packers roster for more than a month, just really tune this Titans team up, particularly on the ground. The same team who traded him, and he did it on Sunday. I want to lean Dolphins money line here at even money line, because Levis just finds ways to lose games. It's really incredible. And I do think there's a possibility that Huntley, if he starts, but we don't know, could make an impact with his legs. But I can't do it right now. I think we need to wait here. I think even without robust knowledge of the playbook, Huntley gives him the best chance to win, but we don't know he's starting. And Mike McDaniel's no Matt LaFleur either. Huntley's been on the team for a week. No play on the spread right now. We just can't. But if anything, I would lean under 36.5. Just not a great game. I'll have a full video on this, though, so stay tuned for that. Comes out on Monday morning. All right, let's close it out. Seahawks, Lions. Lions -4, 47-point total. McDonald's got this defense firing on all cylinders. That said, let's take a step back, right? Because I won't bury the lead. They faced Bo Nix, Jacoby Brissett, and Skylar Thompson through the first 3 weeks. Not exactly a murderer's row of offenses here that the Seattle defense has faced. But I still like this to be a competitive spot. You guys have watched these Detroit games, right? Jared Goff and this Lions, they haven't really clicked yet on offense. They squeaked past Arizona. They lost outright to Tampa. And they needed overtime to take down the Rams in week 1. The Rams team obviously wasn't nearly as unhealthy, but you see what I'm saying. We just haven't seen that explosive offense last year, or that last year kind of lit the league on fire. Sorry, I talk here for 30 straight minutes. I start to lose my train of thought. And I don't think we see it against the Seahawks either. Unless the Seahawks are the biggest paper tiger in football that just folds the moment they face a good team, which is entirely possible. I don't see it, though. Plus, Lions All-Pro center Frank Ragnow is dealing with a partially torn pec. Now, the guy's a freak. These linemen are built differently. He wants to play. And Dan Campbell said he's stubborn. I don't see how they let him play here. I mean, I really don't. Seattle's got some injuries on defenses too, but this sets up to be a really good game, a tight game, one I can't wait to watch. Right now, I'm leaning Seahawks +4, but like I said, Monday Night Football, 2 games. I'll have a video for both of those, and we'll dig into the props, baby. That has been our bread and butter this season. I hope to see you over there in the Discord on Tails. If not, I'll see you guys back here for Thursday Night Football, for those videos, for my props video on Friday, and everything else throughout the season. Appreciate you hanging out as always. Peace.